Firstly, namaskar everybody. I am SUHANI DHANKI MODY, a Bharatanatyam dancer, a disciple of Guru Dr. Sandhya Purecha ji from Mumbai, and an actor. I truly thank Munch UK for organizing this wonderful series called Meet the Artists. I think it's spectacular because um, you get to see the artists beyond what you see on stage, just like Akash very rightly said yesterday. And it was absolutely beautiful to witness his journey and hear about his journey and see his space and all of that. It was really nice. So we're just going to wait a few minutes before we begin this session. And yeah, before I start, I'd also like to thank Meera ji, Ambika ji, Subbalakshmi, and Vidya Patel for putting in so much effort in putting this series together. It's absolutely incredible. And I hope I can engage you and you enjoy hearing what I have to say after this. So we just wait a few minutes before we start. I think in the meanwhile, I'll just quickly start taking you through my little space. This is the exterior of my studio, the garden, where a lot of times I sit with all the books and just sit and read here, especially books on Shastra that my guru, Dr. Sandhya Purecha ji, asks us to read. And when she asks us to make notes, I think it's a very nice space to be in. Coming from Mumbai, it's even better because we've never had the opportunity to be in such greenery, and having this kind of atmosphere here is truly refreshing. So I think we're okay to start now. Is it 6? So I'd quickly just take like a minute to talk about Munch UK. Munch UK is a platform where digitally South Asian artists that brings South Asian artists closer to the audiences by enabling the audiences to hear about their journey, their stories, their interest with the arts. And I think it's a wonderful platform because we get to see so much more to the artist and in the process and just get inspired by that journey. So it started yesterday and it's going to go on till 24th of May, every day at 6 p.m. On the Munch UK Facebook page. We have lots of artists going live. And amidst a galaxy of South Asian artists based in the UK, I think it's Meera ji is incredibly kind to give me a platform here. So I moved to the UK a year ago, and to be fair, when I moved back then, I never imagined I would have a space like this to pursue dance, to just be immersed in dance. I moved from Mumbai, the city of dreams and all of that, and back in Mumbai, obviously life was very different because I grew up with a lot of people, with family and with lots of people around me, and in good weather, as I may say, moderate weather, coming to the UK where it was cold, nobody I knew. There was lack of drive and inclination to practice by myself because didn't have my peers, didn't have my guru, watching over me and enabling the practice. I had to manage a household, something that I'd never had to do. It was added responsibility. So all of these things put together initially were a challenge. Coupled with that was the lack of direction after coming here, because there is that feeling of being absolutely lost, trying to find your space in the dance scenario here. And it just got too much. And then there was this whole a few months of rejections, lack of responses from people. So you start questioning yourself, going into this zone of self-doubt that what do I do? Am I good enough? Or all of that. But I think all of that passed in due course. And the biggest contributor to all of that was my guru, Dr. Sandhya Purecha ji, who I endearingly call Sandhya Tai. She said to me when I called her after a few months, I think, and I told her, I said, I don't know what to do and I don't know how to go about this. I feel so lost here. It's too much. And she said to me, she said a shlok from the Bhagavad Gita. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayava, which in a sense means believe in and follow your roots, your skill, and just adhere to that. That really stayed with me. It enabled a lot of confidence in me, and it kind of took me back to my first classroom session with Sandhya Tai. So I went to Thai when I was about 16 years ago. I was already 12 by then. And I'd already completed my Visharad in Bharatanatyam. My mom was absolutely unhappy with my training and she decided that I needed to learn better. So when I went to Sandhya Tai, she said that if you want to learn under me, you need to come with a Kori party, a clean slate. I didn't quite understand why then until I had my first classroom session with her. She sat me down and she said two things. First was that art has logic. There is nothing in this art without logic. There is nothing that doesn't have a name. And always ask questions. So, anyone who says in the Guru Shishya Parampara, you're not allowed to ask questions and all of that, she did not believe in that. She said, ask, keep asking. And then she went on to teach me the Namaskar. The Namaskar is the basic first humble salutation to Bhumi Devi, to the very earth that we dance on. And while teaching me the Namaskar, she obviously taught me the hand gestures, all the significance of the hand gestures, the shlokas associated with them, the uses of the hand gestures, the leg movements, the postures, all of that, alongside the Namaskar. But what truly, I think, stayed with me, what truly inspired me was when she spoke about the philosophy associated with the Namaskar, something that I had absolutely never heard before this. She said that the Namaskar is 9 counts, but there's a reason why the Namaskar is 9 counts. And it's a very beautiful description. I think I just want to share with all of you what the significance of each count is. She said 1 is for Chandra, the moon. 2 is for Chakshu, the 2 eyes. 3 is for the Agni, 3 types of fire. 4 for the Chaturveda, the Vedas are the holy scriptures in Hinduism. 5 for Cupid's 5 arrows. 6 for the 6 seasons. 7 for the Rishimani's, the sages. 8 for the leaders of the 8th direction, Ashtavasu. 9, Parabrahma, that is completion, universal, anything that you wanted, because beyond 9, there is no other digit. It's all a combination. And I think that depth of knowledge, which, mind you, went on for 4 classes of 3 hours each. So I think for about half a day, I had so much to teach me only about the Namaskar. So with that kind of knowledge, I think that I think I can safely say that I don't think I fell in love with the dance first. I fell in love with Sandhya Tai's world of dance, with my guru, and then I fell in love with the dance. So that's how it all began. When I say Guru Shishya Parampara, I learned under the Guru Shishya Parampara, it's because the teaching wasn't confined to a classroom space. So of course, when she taught us the dance, the theory was taught along with it. The Shastras were balanced with the practice. But what was beautiful was what happened outside the classroom. So because I joined TAIAP when I was already 12 and there were students who were with her since 4, I had a lot of covering up to do. I had a lot of years to cover up together. So I started spending more time there. Plus she put me with the best of the students whenever it was time to perform. So it was added pressure, where I had to really try to get better to be able to match up to that. I think she intentionally did that to draw that practice and that hard work out of me. So when we used to sit for lunch, she would take lunch boxes, and arrangement of lunch boxes became choreography. When we used to go on road trips and, for performances, she would stop the car in the middle of the road, find a tree and teach us fearlessness by making us climb that tree. Little things like that. When we're out in the garden, if she sees ants, she'd show us the movement of the ants to show us discipline, how the ants move in discipline. Or simple things like, where like, how just to be unabashed, just have no inhibitions, because we're at a train station and she hears something and then she'll start teaching us tal there. Or our train's delayed, so we're sitting in the waiting room and she's opened her book and she's teaching us some shastra, or she's teaching us some shlokas. Or we're traveling in the bus and we have a lot of time to kill, so she is taking up things like the names of the 108 Karanas. So there's lots of things that happen during the journey, and it was a constant process of study. she never um, she never lost a chance to teach us, to just tell us that study. All of this, I think, this foundational training, I felt the value of it. I felt the importance of it when I moved to the UK the most. I think when you're in a situation when you're given things, you tend to take it for granted. And when you're away from it is when you actually realize the value of those things. So it was when I moved here that, and when she told me the shlok from the Bhagavad Gita, I revisited and I said, no, you know what? There's a lot that I have to do. And there's a lot that I have to share that she's given to me. So I really need to take it upon myself to go out there. And then when I approached Meera ji and told her about this background, she and Academy were very kind to and encouraging. And we began the Wednesday Wisdom series on in association with Academy, sharing bite-sized informations from the Shastras, just to kind of share with the audience and the South Asian artists in UK the importance of the Shastras and just some information. You know, I felt like somewhere it was missing here, and I could help fill that little gap in my own limited capacity, of course. There was also the whole aspect of the adavus and the creation of movements that I'd learned. So based on that, there's also something really nice. So according to, we'd learned the parallel study of dance and all of that, but parallel to that was the study of research methodology. My guru researches, translates and transmits movements from ancient Indian Sanskrit treatise into dance. So when she makes us the body to embody those movements, she was not only like, she would sit in a place and tell us that do this, do that. No, she would take the shlok, she would explain to us how she would read in between the lines, and using those lines based on her past observations, on her experiences, on her learning with the guru, she would put the text in the form of dance. So there's this book called the Nritya Ratna Kosh, which has kalasakaranas, which are usually just basically joyous movements inspired from nature. And I'm just going to show you some of those movements because I think they're really beautiful. So the first is Vidyut, which is like lightning. And so that is just one. There are a number of variations for that. Then there is the Baka Kalasa, which is the crane. So then there is the Hamsa Kalasa. So, even the Manduka Kalasa is one with the frog. So, they're just such beautiful movements, all inspired by nature. Instead of just teaching us these movements, what she did was introduce us to this completely different body language within the confines of Bharatanatyam, within the framework of Bharatanatyam, yet beyond that. So, we learned research methodology and all of this put together. Alongside this, to just take you a little backwards, in school, I was a complete nervous wreck. I could not speak in public. If I had to speak in front of two people, I would start shivering, stuttering. It just didn't happen. So I don't think I enjoyed drama, but I don't think I ever imagined being an actor. So after school, when I came into college, my guru started asking me to host all the various cultural events that her organization organized. And I didn't think I had the ability to do it, but it almost became second skin after that. I could do it. That happened. And then it was about introducing your acts through using gestures and gestures and conversation through the process. So that became another avenue. I think somewhere her sadhana, I guess, made her, was preparing me for something much bigger in my life, because I got my first big break in television when I was with her at a production house. The casting director saw me and he said, "Will you act?" And I said no, and Sanida said yes, she can. And it was something that I obviously didn't think that I had. You know Hanuman didn't know his strength until, so just something probably like that. So when I auditioned and I got the job, I was very scared then when I got my first acting project, because somewhere I thought that my guru was trying to push me away from her. It made me very worried that why is she putting me in this field? Why is she telling me to go act and go away from her, you know? But obviously it was not that. She said something to me which was very beautiful. She said that, Bachu, Dev deto ani karma neto. God gives you and your karma will take it away. So always do the right karma. And when things come to your doorstep, learn to accept gracefully. And then I got the confidence and courage, and I went on to do television. Through this entire process of taking up television shows, I never had any formal training in acting. And it was only and everything that I learned in the Guru Shishya parampara, in the world of dance, that came handy when I was acting. So just to give you like some examples, I remember we were in Thailand, we were shooting for a show called Porous, and there was a very rocky terrain. It was very pokey, it was really bad, and I had to climb that entire, all those rocks up, and while saying a dialogue. But the footwear was, I think, really slippery. I mean, I think the ground the footwear didn't have any grip. So I kept slipping. So I removed the footwear and I said the dialogue and I went up. After, like, when they said cut, everyone started clapping. And I'm like, why are you guys clapping? So that's when I realized that everyone who was walking on that terrain had cuts, you know, when they were walking bare feet. And then my director said, Ki, you have a dancer's foot. That's why you were able to do this. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been possible. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's come handy. Then through our years of learning, we also learned, I attended a lot of chow workshops that my guru's institution organized. So when I had to play the role of a warrior princess and, you know, wield the sword and hold those postures and all of that, it was very exciting for me because it was almost all of that training coming back here, you know, using the sword. Of course, my director did tell me a couple of times ki, in Hindi that, Lachi, tum dance kar rahi ho, tumhe ladna hai. But of course, I mean, that got better, but that training came in handy. In fact, I mean, 3 of my television shows, I had the opportunity to dance on them. And I think this was after I finished my BA in dance, that Sanyatai told me that it's time you allow your body to learn another form of dance. And I did Kathak for 2 years at the college. And that was a great experience too. I really began enjoying Kathak. It was kind of discovery for me as well, that, oh, you know, my body can adapt to different things and different styles. And after I finished the 2nd year of Kathak, and the examiner told me that you're good, you should pursue this more, I stopped. I said, no, I think this is where I'm okay to draw the line. Of course, never know what the future holds, but that training. And apart from that, I think a general sense of discipline, repetition, something that we dancers are very akin to. Shooting in adverse conditions, which is being in adverse conditions, finding a solution, you know, memorizing, all these things came from dance. Also time management, because whilst shooting, I had to ensure that I gave enough time to practice, because we never stopped performing. I still ensured that she called me for every performance, and I was still performing, so I had to maintain form, because I mean, it's important, and I never wanted one career to take over the other. So there was always that sense of trying to strike the right kind of balance between the two things. In fact, even something as simple as the costume. I mean, being comfortable in your skin, being comfortable with heavy jewelry and still performing, all of that in the acting field came from dance and from the world of teaching there. And I do recall, actually, when I think I finished my BA in dance, I got an offer from quite a reputed television production house to play the lead role on their shows. Everything was done. But just when I was about to sign the contract, I got a letter from the Ministry of Culture that I had got the scholarship to young artists, something that I really wanted. So at that time, I was studying law. I was in my first year of MA, And I was obviously training, and then I got the scholarship, and then this show, and I was really confused. I didn't know what to do, whether I should take it up or, because if I took the show up, I would have to forego my scholarship, and it was really something that I wanted. So it was a tough choice back then, but I'm glad I made that choice and went ahead with the scholarship. And because it gave me a lot of years to really understand the dance, the depth of it, gave me a lot more time with my Guruji to kind of understand myself as well and my space in dance. So I think that was really, really beautiful, because after that, when I finished my education and then I took up a show, it was a choice that I made, also keeping in mind something very important that I think all dancers would agree with too, that dance, classical dance more so, is a very expensive field to sustain, and it requires funds. You need something that will back you up as an artist. You need a source of income, because it is not it's not sustainable otherwise. So when I started getting my offers and I decided to take it up, because by then I'd actually started enjoying acting. I remember having this conversation with Sandhya Tai, where she said that you're taking this up, but make sure you're very sensible about how you manage your finances and allocate your funds, because use this opportunity to gather and save enough such that whenever you want to create or do anything in dance, there is no hindrance. So use the balance this way. And these are such, I think, I feel so blessed to have this constant guidance and mentoring from my guru, that people who say that the Guru Shishya parampara is confining and it's restraining, I truly beg to differ. Because when I moved over here, every time I got an opportunity or anything to do, when I called Sanyata and told her, Dai, this has come, what should I do? She always said one thing: Bachu, what do you feel like doing? What do you think you should do? And I think that in itself was an indication of how much freedom and how much trust she had in her child, that she always asked me that what I think. It was not that, it was, she could have easily told me, and of course she gave me constructive criticism every time, which is what a mentor does. But I think that shows how much freedom there is within this surrender. And yeah, UK, of course, has been nothing but kind. Of course, after those first few months, I don't think I have anything to complain about. I've had an absolutely supportive husband who really, who's behind right now, who's my permanent videographer, is an extremely supportive husband who's really kept my dreams and my aspirations in mind. So when we bought this place, we bought it because of this. This is my little haven, my space for dance, and just like to take you through that space. That's my guru, Sandhya Tai. These are all the lovely books. Just a few of them, actually. I couldn't even bring all of them. But yes, this space has been really, I think, it's really been a gift. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the UK to thank as well for supporting me through this journey. It's really, I don't think it would be possible, without so much. You need people, I think. I have immense respect for people who do it solo. I don't know if I would be in that position to be able to do it, but yes, I have a lot of people backing me. I have both my mothers who pray to all their gods before every show of mine, because that everything goes well. I have my mentor in Bhavna Tai, who is the backbone of Sandhya Tai's institution, and kind of our mentor as well, who trains us. She trains us in everything except the dance aspect. who constantly kind of motivates me and, gives me the courage to go out there and make a difference. So Miyaji asked me to briefly talk about my aspirations as a dancer. I won't lie, every time I made a plan for myself, it never worked out. Every time things just, sometimes, like Sanjay says, Dev Deto, God gives you things at times and you're supposed to keep developing from that. I feel as a student, what I can do, and as an artist, what I can do is just try to spread this art that my guru continues to give me so abundantly, so generously, to as many people as possible. Use my medium, use the medium of being an actor to be able to spread that art as much as I can. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So just to conclude this session with a little dance, instead of doing like a traditional piece or a choreography, a traditional piece, I will be presenting a choreography that I personally a song that I personally love. It's called Madhurashtakam, a composition of Srimad Vallabhacharya, in praise of Lord Krishna. He says that everything about the God of sweetness is sweet. His lips, his face, his eyes, his heart, his walk, everything about the God of sweetness is sweet. And this is a choreography and musical composition of my guru, Dr. Sandhya Purecha. Sorry, in the meanwhile, if there are any questions that you all would like to ask, please do post them. As soon as this is done, I'll... Okay, that seems to be a problem that hadn't arisen before this. It was connected. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. Are there any questions? Okay, yeah, I'm just going to do it. sorry for the bad quality of the audio. Everything was set up, but it is what it is. Thank you so much. Once again, I'd like to thank Neeraji, Ambika, Subbalakshmi and Vidya Patel for organizing this wonderful series. Of course, I think, it's the first time I'm having a conversation like this without the audience. I think it's going to be a first for a lot of us now, especially with the coming situation. But I do hope all of you all are keeping safe, keeping well, and staying home and being culturally enriched, staying home. Yeah, someone said that when you surrender, you get to the right place. I think that's really very true and beautiful. That I totally agree. I mean, I think anything that I do get is because of that. There was a time once when my guru did tell me that it seems like your faith is wavering. Hold yourself onto that. And I didn't realize, but it was probably, it was true, because, you just it's like a flower. It tends to wilt. So, yes, it's just that. Someone's asked me, how do you manage to give such expressions? I think when it comes to Abhinay, in fact, even with acting, there was never any formal training in acting, right? So with Abhinay as well, even though we were taught different movements of every part of the face and eyes, like of the eyebrows, the eyelids, the cheek, edge, everything, chin. When teaching us Abhinay, Guruji Sanidai never told us, oh, lift your eyebrow that way or lift your cheek that way. It was a very intuitive teaching. It was a very instinctive teaching based on everything that you saw, and it was based on observation, what you felt from within. So I think that's pretty much it. And I don't know how long it's been, but yeah, I think it's time. Thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in. I'm truly grateful for everyone who's been here. I think there's a lot of family, dance friends. And thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Have a lovely day. Stay stable. Chitraji, by any chance, are you able to say a bit about if and how Sandhyatai approached Karanas differently from Padma Subramaniam apart from texts? Yes. Thank you, Chitraji, for that question. Sandhyatai's approach to Karanas. So the Karanas that I showed some time back, they are a different school. So the Nritya Karanas that Bharata has defined in his Natya Shastra are Margi Karanas. These Karanas are Kalas Karanas from a text called Nritya Ratnakosh, which are Deshi Karanas. So they are inspired from nature, whereas those are based on the... So when Sandhyatai actually even worked on the Nritya Karanas of Bharata's Natya Shastra, and when her interpretation did differ, but of course I don't think I'm an authority to talk too much about that. I just want to share that her... she's worked on the Kalasa Karanas differently. And apart from texts, how she approached the Karanas. So we did actually do the tour to witness the sculptures inscribed everywhere. The Karanas were, I think they are Margi Karanas, so they are rooted in the text. So I would suppose that she definitely does approach them based on the Shastra itself. Thank you so much. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.